All the engines were excited. After a year of waiting, their show was finally on the air. At least, most of them thought it was their show.
Congratulations on your show, Thomas.
Edward said,
Thank you, thank you. It was honestly too easy. Wow, my own show. First a book series and now this? I'm on top of the world.
Some of the engines groaned and snickered to each other.
Being a star is nice, Thomas.
Oh, I know, boasted Thomas. They even got one of the Beatles to voice me.
Not just you, Thomas. He voices all of us.
Edward added.
Yeah, sure, Edward.
Thomas was too busy watching the TV and not paying attention to Edward. The other engines soon got tired of Thomas's boasting. Some of the engines glared at Thomas, and others started leaving the sheds. Days passed, and Thomas continued to be a boastful pain to the other engines.
You know,
said Thomas to another engine at a big station,
I'm the main character in...
Shut up.
James yelled as he steamed away with a passenger train.
Pa, I should have been the main character.
Snooted Henry.
Mine, too.
Added James in the distance. Soon Thomas became so conceited that only he, Edward, and Gordon stayed in the sheds. Thomas was still continuing to boast to Edward and Gordon.
Did you see the episode where I heroically rescued James and got my own branch line?
Asked Thomas to Edward and Gordon.
I also received 2 beautiful branch line coaches as well. Do you remember their names?
Yes, Thomas, we do.
Edward said tiredly.
Indeed.
Gordon butted in.
Why don't you tell the story where you lost control of your train and almost crashed through the buffers? Or tell the story where you forgot your passenger train? Or where I tricked you and dragged you all the way from Tidmouth to Wellsworth?
Thomas was cross.
Huh, you're just jealous,
Thomas retaliated.
It's my show, and you're just mad you're portrayed as a bully, and I'm...
The silly little engine who always messes up,
Gordon retorted. Thomas looked down crossly.
We're not annoyed nor jealous that you have a show, Thomas. We're all proud of you, but you become too boastful and proud, and you need to keep it in mind, too. We also appear and play a crucial part in these stories. Sometimes you don't even appear in some of them.
Whatever.
Thomas went on smugly.
Like I said, you're all just jealous you're not as famous as me. Why, I wouldn't need a TV show or book series to be famous. I'm practically immortal.
Thomas, you're not suggesting...
I am.
Thomas went on smugly.
Why, maybe I wouldn't even had to come to Sodor. British Rail would have left me alone.
Finally, Edward and Gordon lost patience.
Edward?
Gordon whispered to Edward.
We need to find a way to knock him down some steps. Indeed, but how?
Gordon thought and thought.
I have an idea.
Gordon whispered the idea to Edward, while also checking to make sure Thomas wasn't paying attention.
I don't know, Gordon. Do you think it's too far? It's the only way. He'll see soon he's not immortal after today.
Gordon looked over at Thomas.
Oh, Thomas.
Gordon yelled over.
Thomas looked over cheekily.
I got a goods train to take to the Eastleigh Methanol sidings on the mainland. It's very long and heavy, and I'm not feeling well.
Gordon winked broadly at Edward. Thomas laughed.
Don't tell me you're getting lazy, fat face. You're not retired from the Express just yet.
Very well, but imagine the people and children who would miss out on seeing their hero. What would they say if their number one suddenly didn't want to see them anymore?
Gordon added. Thomas thought for a bit, and...
Okay, Lazy Wheels, I'll take your goods train tonight.
Right. You can leave the train for another engine on the mainland to take. You can rest at the works there. There's a siding all the way at the back. Out of the way, you see. I would have taken it to Miller Hill Yard, but they recently closed it.
And you're too old to make it there, I see. Don't worry, Gordon. I'll look out for you at your age, and believe me, they will make a star stay in the back.
Well, the sun is still up, and you're clearly full of steam. Make your way to Tidmouth, little Thomas.
Gordon teased.
Botheration! Stop calling me little Thomas!
Thomas chuffed out of his sheds angrily into the yard at Tidmouth as Edward and Gordon watched.
Hopefully. If your plan does work, you won't have to call him little anymore.
Sighed Edward.
I hope.
Gordon said quietly as he began to move. Thomas was in the yards waiting impatiently for Gordon. His fire was ready and there was plenty of steam.
Come on, come on, come on, he said impatiently. Where's that galloping sausage at?
I'm here.
Gordon said as he pulled into the station.
Huh, about time, Thomas said. Where's the train?
Over there on siding 4.
Thomas looked over and saw a long and heavy train.
She'll be easy enough. Nothing I can't manage,
Thomas said proudly. Gordon laughed.
Can't you indeed?
Just watching from that siding. That will be a fine sight for you.
Thomas reversed and got in front of the train. Thomas and Gordon's driver and fireman made the arrangements for the yard manager and the Fat Controller. Soon, Thomas was ready to go. His driver and fireman entered his cab, and Thomas was coupled up to the train. His fire was lit, coal souped into his firebox, his regulator was pulled open, and Thomas was ready to go. Thomas moved forward, the coupling strained behind him as he slowly moved out of the yard.
I can do it! I can do it! I can do it!
He said to himself.
Goodbye, Gordon! Tell Edward I said bye!
Soon enough, Thomas was rushing down the main line. It was a long trip, and Thomas was going top speed. He was going quite fast down the line. He was bouncing around, and his crew was trying hard to stand up straight in his cab.
See, all the other engines are just jealous of me. People love me so much, I didn't need a TV show or books. I'd have been just as famous if I had stayed over at Brighton. Wonder how my siblings are doing. The E2 class must be thriving in the mainland. Thanks to me, of course.
Soon, the bright blue sky turned to a red sunset. But finally, Thomas arrived at Eastleigh Methanol Sidings.
Finally,
Thomas panted.
We made it.
Finally,
Thomas's fireman said as he straightened up his cap. Just then, the yard manager walked up to Thomas.
You must be Sodor Engine number 1, correct?
Yes, sir. Though you probably know me better as Thomas the Tank Engine, main character of his very own TV show.
Thomas closed his eyes smugly.
Never heard of it. Anyways, shunt this train in that siding and you can rest back there.
Thomas opened his eyes in shock. The yard manager pointed to a dark, long siding, far in the back and out of the way.
But,
Thomas stuttered.
Get to it!
Boomed the yard manager.
Fine.
After Thomas had shunted the train into the siding, he was then moved to the back of the siding at the far end of the yard. His driver and fireman hopped out of his cab.
We'll be back soon, Thomas,
said his fireman.
We're just going to stop in there and get a bit of tea. And to find another coal shooters, you're nearly out again,
his driver added. Soon Thomas's driver and fireman walked away, and Thomas was left all alone.
This is ridiculous. A star shouldn't be put in the back. I should be out in front where everyone can see me,
Thomas said, but not long after, Thomas started to slowly move forward.
Huh? Driver? Fireman? You're back early.
But Thomas's driver and fireman weren't back. His regular was accidentally left open.
Driver! Fireman! Anyone! Help!
He cried, but no one could hear him as he went farther and farther down the line. The farther Thomas went, the darker it became. Odd shapes started to appear around him, but he couldn't see anything.
Cinders and ashes! Stop, wheels! Stop! Oh!
Thomas finally stopped after violently bumping into something heavy in front of him on the tracks.
Oh, what was that?
Thomas couldn't see what was in front of him. Everything was too foggy, and whatever was in front of him was covered in rust. Finally, as the smoke cleared, Thomas could see what was in front of him. A scrapped, lifeless E2 tank engine. It didn't have a face, and smoke blocks appeared to have been ripped off. It was completely covered in rust. Its short, stumpy funnel, dome, and boiler were all gone. Thomas stared in horror at his lifeless counterpart. As Thomas looked around, he began seeing engine parts of his siblings' lifeless bodies, and their parts scattered all around him.
What? What happened to all of you?
Thomas frantically looked around, but everywhere he looked, he could only see scraps and parts of his past brothers and sisters all around him.
Is anyone here alive? Anyone?
No reply was given, and no help was given either. It was just Thomas and his siblings all around him, surrounded by gray smog and a red sky.
No! I couldn't possibly end up like that. This has to be a mistake. This has to be.
But as Thomas looked over, he saw a ripped piece of one of his siblings' side tanks. Thomas's blue paint shined on the scrap metal, and his number 1 reflected off the engine's tank.
Oh, I do remember. When I came to Sodor, they weren't expecting... They were...
Thomas quickly looked back to the part beside him. It looked like it was about to disintegrate into dust.
No! I couldn't have ended up as a star by mistake. I couldn't have stayed here and end up like all of you. I could have been you. You could have been me. It's only by accident I'm not like you right now. I'm just like all of you. I'm sorry.
Thomas looked back at his lifeless sibling's body and the parts all around him.
Thomas!
Thomas's driver and fireman ran towards him through the darkness.
We're so sorry, Thomas. I forgot to close your regulator.
Yeah, thank goodness we didn't cause another accident.
Finally, both the driver and fireman walked back into Thomas's cab, while Thomas was in silence. As Thomas started to reverse, he looked down and saw a number plate on a track next to him. 32104. The one on the number plate was clearly different than all the other numbers, just showing that it had been replaced multiple times. It was late at night and Gordon was waiting in the sheds. He was about to fall asleep until he heard Thomas's whistle in the distance.
There he is.
Thomas slowly and quietly chuffed back into the sheds and stopped next to Gordon. Thomas's driver and fireman climbed out of his cab and quietly walked away.
Well,
Gordon said.
How was your trip, little?
Gordon stopped himself as he saw Thomas looking down.
Are you okay, Thomas?
No,
Thomas replied.
I'm sorry, Gordon. I'm sorry to everyone. I've been an absolute arse lately. All because I thought I was so grand. I forgot that I'm just like every other engine. There's nothing special about me. I only here by mistake.
The sheds were in silence.
Gordon, why didn't you tell me that my siblings were dead?
I didn't want you to feel how I felt when I found out most of my brothers and sisters were gone.
Replied Gordon sorrowfully.
I should have never fooled you into pulling that train. There could have been a better way in handling...
No, Gordon, interrupted Thomas. You were right. When I saw them, I saw myself. I was a glamorous superstar. I was another engine that at any moment, because of any other circumstance, I would end up like them. And that I'll end up like them one day. I'm sorry.
You're not the only one who needed humbling at one point, Thomas.
Gordon replied.
I too, as you are aware, was also boastful. And I was like that for a long time. I was silly, but I grew.
Yeah. I'm still little, huh?
Asked Thomas.
Actually, I say you've grown too. You're not just little Thomas anymore, you're my friend. Remember when I fell down the ditch? I was in disgrace.
Not as much as when I fell down the mine. We were both in disgrace.
Oh, indeed. Remember, Thomas, united we stand, together you fall. You help me?
And I'll help you.
And side by side, the allies together moved slowly outside of the sheds, stopping to watch the stars twinkle in the night sky.